بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. تفضل. Date in the class, yes?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam, rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Begin in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. This is the Abrahamic Association, class number 6. And today is Yom al-Khamis, the 12th of October, which is the 27th of 28th of Rabee Al-Awwal. In the Hijri year 1445, sorry, 1445, 2023. Inshallah, we'll be starting class number 6 of Al-Tasfiyah wa Al-Tarbiyah by Sheikh Imam Al-Albani, rahimahullah. Bismillah, tafadhal, Sheikh.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us alive for another day in which we glorify Him and seek His forgiveness. And before I start, we know that we are passing through a difficult time, the moment where our brothers in Palestine have been killed daily, and our brothers as well, they are in need of our help, which is with the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect them and to end this massacre. And the etiquette of a Muslim regarding such an issue is to, first of all, patience. Very important, Yahwani, because there's nothing to do, there's nothing that we can do as an individual in terms of going to, for example, fight and protect, for example, Palestinians. This is incumbent upon the Muslim countries. They could do that. But we here, all we could do is just make dua. Or a person who has, for example, his own media, social media, he could help as well in the right manner. And you have to be careful as well how to address the issue. So we ask the imams as well to make the dua after each, on the last rak'ah, after the ruku'. So we make the dua of Qunut al-Nawazil, and that is in the 5 daily prayers. طيب. And we're going to be, inshallah, making a recap before we start. We know that we are talking about the Tasfiyah wa Tarbiyah, which Sheikh Al-Albani had taken on his shoulder, which is the filterization, purification, and then the cultivation, which is to bring the generation up on such pure religion, because the deen at the moment has crept into it so many things which are not to do with it, from the heresies and the innovations and the bid'ah. So we, inshallah, go ahead from what we left at the last time. And we left it in the last time when we were talking about one of the things of the issues that the Muslims, they think it is from part of the deen, and that is the wine issue. We haven't really discussed it yet, but I would like you to go back just about one paragraph. So instead of saying from indeed, I would like you to mention from indeed this simple example, not indeed some of the people. Okay? I'll start from there, inshallah.
Indeed, this simple example will not please some of the people. So we will mention another example. Some of the books of fiqh of the madhabs still mention that alcohol is of 2 types. A type which is extracted from grapes, a small amount of it, or a large amount, both being forbidden. And another type which is extracted from other than grapes. This other type is from barley or maize or dates or other than that, from what the non-Muslims have specialized in today in the extraction of alcohol. Not all of this type of alcohol is considered forbidden. Rather, only that which intoxicates is forbidden. So why is this statement still written in the books? Indeed, some of the people defend this with different types of argumentation However, it is nothing more than the fact that an Imam from amongst the Imams of the Muslims made ijtihad and said this statement. This is in light of the fact that all of us, despite our different madhabs, and that the different sources which take from read in the books of the Sunnah, which authentic chains of narration that he sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, ما أسكر كثيره فقليله حرام.
Haram. Just say the English one.
That which intoxicates in large amounts is forbidden in small amounts. And
Also said in English, please, in English.
Every intoxicant is khamr, alcohol, and every khamr is forbidden. So why does the likes of this dangerous statement still continue to persist? A statement which encourages the people, those who are on the edge of the pit of sinfulness, or have indeed fallen into the reality, and makes pleasing to them the drinking of a small amount of alcohol, which is from other than grapes. And this is based upon the proof that the Imam such and such, with him being a virtuous scholar, said so. Oh, what a proof. We also believe that this scholar is virtuous. However, the difference is that we don't forget that he is a virtuous scholar who is not protected from error. They pretend to forget this reality and they persist in defending this statement. Some of them even take advantage of this statement by circulating intoxicating substances amongst the Muslims. Others just defend the Imam and not the statement. Perhaps many of you will have heard that the Arab magazine...
Okay. Fine. Yeah, just in summary, what is happening regarding the fatwa of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he did not travel as much as Imam Malik or Imam Shafi'i and definitely Imam Ahmad. And he lived in an area, Abu Hanifa Nu'man, where the hadith was not flourishing, was not really spreading like as many as it was at the time of Imam Ahmad. So most of the fatwa and verdicts that he had made, Imam Abu Hanifa, were based upon the ijtihad, meaning to arrive to the conclusion by way of deduction. So he looking at this, and then he would say that this is similar to this, and he will give the verdict. And the narration that Imam Abu Hanifa he had at this time, it says that some of those companions, they used to drink nabidh al-Kufa, the wine which was made in al-Kufa. Kufa is in place in Iraq. From them, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. So he said that these companions had drank nabidh al-Kufa. What is the nabidh al-Kufa? The wine which is in al-Kufa is made of dates. It's not made of the grapes. So, based upon Abu Hanifa's opinion, which he did not have the following hadith, he did not reach him, and that is ما أسكر كثيره فقليله حرام. Whatever is too much of it intoxicates you, then little of it will becomes haram. So if you drink, let's say, a barrel of something and it makes you drunk, then a drop of that is haram. That hadith did not reach Imam Abu Hanifa. And Abu Hanifa, when he had got some of the hadith, he implemented such hadith only on the grapes, because that was the Prophet ﷺ was talking about, is the grapes. So other than the grapes, then Imam Abu Hanifa, he says, then we cannot implement any rule of it to do with the too much of it, which makes you drunk, then the little of it is haram. So only the grapes is the one that if you drink from it, even little one, if it's too much of it makes it haram, even little thing will be haram, but cannot be implemented on other, for example, wine, which is extracted from, let's say, wheat or barley, like the beer they have here, made of, out of barley. So like the beer or all of that, we cannot say it is haram because the companions drank the wine in Kufa, which is to do with the dates. So that's why Abu Hanifa, when they said to him, why don't you make it haram? He said, God forbid I make it haram, because I'm going to make the companions are to be corrupt, because the companions will be drinking haram. But the thing is, you see, so many narrations that Abu Hanifa had heard from the companions or about the companions, they were not authentic. And even if it is to be authentic, maybe that companion did not hear what the Prophet ﷺ had said. For example, Jabir ibn Samurah radiallahu anhu, he was a person who used to sell alcohol even after the death of the Prophet ﷺ. It did not reach him, the hadith of the Prophet of Allah, with the intoxicant drinks, 10 things are being cursed. One of them is that to sell it. He did not hear that hadith. Jabir ibn Samurah, he has so many hadith in Sahih Bukhari. So we cannot use the issue of that this companion had done something which is to the contrary of the Prophet ﷺ to be a proof for us. Well, I want to sell alcohol. Why Jabir ibn Samurah sold alcohol? Okay, this is a companion which is authentic from Abu Jabir. But we know that for a fact that if the companion had said something and it contradicts the hadith and contradicts the understandings of other companions, there are mukhalifin, that means companions who are different from him, and we cannot use him as a proof. I'll give you another example. One companion is called Abu Talha al-Ansari, well-known companion, one who was married to Sulaym. Abu Talha al-Ansari in Ramadan was seen while he was fasting, taking some of the hail which is dropping from the heavens, from the skies, and putting it in his mouth and licking that hail. You know, the hailstone makes you, it's like a stone which is made of what? Something's frozen. So it produces water. You start licking it. So the other companion said, what are you doing? He said, I'm licking the hail. He said, how? He said, well, it does not break the fast. There's barakah from the heavens. Now, if somebody going to say, oh, well, I'm going to lick hail. Why? Because Abu Talha had done. We say to him, no, look at the other companions objected upon him. That's not correct. And we know from the Prophet ﷺ, he said, exaggerate in putting water in your nostrils and in your mouth when you make gargling, but except if you are what? Fasting. So you're not allowed to have any drink that goes inside food or drink. And the hail is a drink because it's like something that you drink it. Even a piece of paper, which is not food, if you deliberately swallowed it, it will break your fast, unless you don't know, you are ignorant. So here we find that the companion, and lots of examples we could give that we say that we cannot follow a particular companion when he is contradicting a hadith because he didn't know about the hadith. Okay. Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. Don't go far. Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. One day Abu Musa al-Ash'ari comes and knocks on his door when he's in the reign of his khilafah. This is well after the death of the Prophet. You got Abu Bakr had and took the khilafah for 2.5 years, and this is Umar now. And God knows how many years passed on Umar's khilafah. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari comes to knock on the door. And he asks for permission from the people who are guarding the door. So they told Umar, and Umar was busy. And he did not permit. So Abu Musa al-Ash'ari left. Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu asked, okay, let him go in. So he went outside, he said, he's gone. He said, I want him here. How can you dare he go? So they summoned him, they brought him back. So Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu asked him, what are you doing? I gave you permission. I didn't give you permission at the beginning. You should wait. So, well, this is from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course, he said, if we said to you, go back, I went back. So he said, either you bring me a proof or I'll beat you up. You're claiming this is from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he went, Musa al-Ash'ari, to the companions, the Ansar, and he told them about the story, what happened, and I want somebody to help me. He said, well, we'll give you the youngest kid. He will testify with them. Everybody knows this issue. They gave him Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, youngest kid. He went with him. And he's been summoned before Umar, and Umar was listening. Abu Sa'id, he testified, yes. Abu Musa saying, correct. The Prophet Allah taught us, if you don't give us permission to go in, to go back. So that's when Umar al-Khattabi said, Subhanallah, I'm the Khalifa of the Muslimin, and I don't know anything about this. It must have been the market and shopping that made me busy to, to hear such a thing. And that's Umar. That's Umar al-Khattab. So you can't just say, how come Abu Hanifa didn't know that intoxicant drink is haram? He didn't know that it was haram. You can't say that. Umar al-Khattab didn't know that if somebody says to somebody, knock on the door, go back, he goes, go back. وإذا قيل لكم ارجعوا ارجعوا فهو أزكى لكم. And I'll give you lots of examples like this, but I'm just saying, this is a few examples to say to you that it doesn't mean Abu Hanifa is a scholar, he knows about everything. It doesn't mean that Umar al-Khattab is the second Khalifa, he knows about everything. No. Umar al-Khattab didn't know even about the ablution with tayammum, dry ablution, until he had a debate with Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and he reminded him what happened. Oh, if it is the case, I'd let you to say what you want to say, because he didn't know. Umar al-Khattab didn't know there was another recitation apart from his recitation. One companion was reciting the surah, can't remember the name of the surah, it could be Surah Al-Saf, or Safat, or it could be Surah, it is the Surah Al-Furqan. He was reciting Surah Al-Furqan. So when he was reciting it, and he just held him from here. What is this recitation from? Brought him here. He said, I've heard it from the Prophet of Allah. He said, come. He held him all the way, because he never heard this recitation. Reciting a different recitation. And then the Prophet said, let him go. He's gasping out. He says, let him go. He said, Messenger of Allah, he recited this surah in a way that he did not make me to recite it in this way. So he said, okay, let go of him. So he started reciting. He said, Hakada unzil. This is when it was being revealed. Recite Umar. So he recited in a different way. It was like, this is how it's been revealed. Quran was revealed in 7 ahraf. I can't say letters here. Ahraf, it has different meaning. The literal meaning of it, ahraf means letters. But it needs another lecture to explain to you what is ahraf. 7 ways of recitations. But 7, which we have now from it, the 10 well-known recitation of the Quran. So Umar al-Khattab didn't know that there was another recitation. So coming back here, Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he didn't know that the intoxicant drinks, it was not the case of that it has to be just from the grapes to be haram. It could be from anything. Otherwise, now people can drink beer, a can or two, as long as you don't get drunk, it's halal. Based upon Abu Hanifa's opinion. Some people, they say, I'm Hanafi, who doesn't know that Abu Hanifa did this. I think he would disown Abu Hanifa if he knew about this. But some of them even will not disown Abu Hanifa. Oh, no, I don't believe that this is Abu Hanifa had said it. Even if you bring him the book, this is what Abu Hanifa's opinion. No, I don't believe. Can't be. This is why we say making a person as a holy is not correct. There's no such thing holiness about any person. There's no such thing, that circle they talk to on top of the saint. There's no such saint circle on top of somebody. Yeah. Everybody is exposed to mistakes. Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Kullu bani Adam khata, wa khayrul khata'in at-tawwab." All the sons of Adam are to be mistaken or make mistakes, are exposed to make mistakes. And the best of the ones who make mistakes is the one who repents. Also, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِذَا حَكَمَ الْحَاكِمُ فَاجْتَهَدَ فَأَصَابَ فَلَهُ أَجْرَانِ. If the ruler, scholar had made a judgment by making ijtihad and he had hit the target, correct answer, then he's got 2 double reward. قال فإذا حكم فاجتهد فأخطأ فله أجر. But if he had ruled by making ijtihad and deducing the rules and all, and he made the wrong conclusion, he is still what? 1 reward. So it's either 2 reward or 1 reward, because he's a scholar. There's no such thing that he will be doomed and he will be sinned. So when we say Abu Hanifa, he had made a mistake, he's got still a reward. Because he was asked, why don't you make it haram? He said, dare me make it haram. Then I'll make the companions as to be what? Fasiqun, fasidun, corrupt. I can't do that. So we say that because Abu Hanifa didn't know about the other hadiths, didn't know that some of the hadith that had arrived to him, they were not authentic. That's why Abu Hanifa rahimahullah had based his opinion in so many corners onto ijtihad, onto what he thinks is correct, not onto a hadith. So Ibn Hazm rahimahullah, for example, in Kitab al-Muhalla, when you find, for example, how many mistakes he found on Abu Hanifa, and Imam Malik, and Imam Shafi'i, and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, in this order, you'll find that the maximum mistake that he found on Abu Hanifa. Why? Because of, as I said, it's not because he's not is not a good person. No, because the sources that he had is not as good as the sources that Imam Malik, who came later on, had. And the same thing with Imam Shafi'i, who came later on, had. The same with Imam Ahmad. Imam Ahmad was a student of Imam Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i used to say to Imam Ahmad as a student, you travel everywhere. If you have the hadith from Sham, from Egypt, from Iraq, tell us about the hadith. So we could really use that hadith to give the fatwa based upon what you tell us. So he's telling his students, because I don't know maybe the hadith is correct or not. Because you travel around, I'm stuck here. Okay? So we say to the people who are Hanafis, if you want to be proper Hanafis, then do what Abu Hanifa told you. إذا صح الحديث فهو مذهب. If the hadith is to be authentic, then this is my path. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah did not allow the wiping on top of the socks until later, until he died, just about before he died, because he didn't know. So we need to make sure, Ikhwani, those people who are following such a madhab, to tell them, number one, Abu Hanifa is a respected person. Tell them, and we have respect more than you do have respect to him, but in the right manner. Number two, that he is a person who is infallible. He's not infallible. He makes mistakes. He's a human being. Prophet of Allah is the only one who cannot, and he is being guarded and secured from making mistakes in the deen. Because if he does, Allah will rectify him, will correct him straight away. So he could make mistakes. He's not infallible. Remember, number three, if Abu Hanifa made a mistake, don't be scared to say that he made a mistake. Don't be scared. He made a mistake and he's still rewarded. So people say, how dare we? Number four, when you say, are you more knowledgeable than Abu Hanifa? No, we're not more knowledgeable. Abu Hanifa is the greatest of all scholars in terms of fiqh. But as long as he knows what the sources is correct, the source is not right, even if his fiqh is nice and detailed, but it's wrong, it's based upon wrong foundation, because this hadith itself is not authentic, or he didn't have a hadith. And we could go on and on. We don't say that in every verdict we go all the time anti-Hanifa, Abu Hanifa. No. It's not correct. Actually, on the contrary, we will go sometimes with Abu Hanifa, we'll go away from the other scholars. But for example, Imam Ahmad, I'll tell you what. One of the things that comes to my mind, that making Abu Hanifa rahimahullah and Imam Shafi and Imam Malik, they are different from Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal regarding the Jama'ah, making a Jama'ah after the Jama'ah. Some people came late now after Maghrib. They want to make another Jama'ah. Then after that Jama'ah, another people came as well, made another Jama'ah. Imagine. So Jama'ah after a Jama'ah. Imam Ahmad makes it allowed. Whereas Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi, they make it allowed. So we go with Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. And there are lots of examples. This doesn't mean that we are Hanbali, who stick to Hanbal. No. No problem if the person studies the fiqh on the foundation of any other scholar, as long as he does not take him as to be infallible. As long as he's not to be ta'assub, fanatic. I'm stuck to him. No, Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. So all these points mentioned them. Abu Hanifa, we respect him. Scholar, great scholar. Abu Hanifa is not infallible. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah maybe didn't have the hadith that is we have at the moment. Number four, Imam Abu Hanifa, we're not scared to say that he made a mistake, because his mistake fluctuates between what? 2 rewards or 1 reward. If he's correct, 2 rewards. If he's not correct, 1 reward. Rahimallah Abu Hanifa. Now, look what happened because of this fatwa of Abu Hanifa still until today in the books, that is, intoxicant drinks made from other than the grapes, whether it is dates, whether it's barley, whether it's wheat. If it is little of it, does not make you drunk, no problem to drink it. So keep drinking drop after a drop, sip after a sip, until you get drunk. That last one is haram. The one that's halal, according to Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. But that's not correct. That's why Imam Ahmad, in the place of Kufa, when he sits down, and he made Imam Ahmad, Muslim Imam Ahmad, first thing they would sit down, he would just take out from his, they got big sleeves, the scroll of Kitabul Ashriba, the chapter of drink, and he would start narrating the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in order to brainwash those people who thought Abu Hanifa's, saying it's okay to drink from the wine, the dates. Ashriba, haram, haram, haram. Kullu muskirin khamr, كل خمر حرام. Everything that makes you drunk is to be in wine, and every wine is haram. Fadal.
Perhaps many of you will have heard that the Arab magazine published an article a few years ago by one of these people in which he embraces and adopts this statement, i.e. in respect to alcoholic drinks extracted from other than grapes, and that the majority...
Can you just again start from the beginning?
Perhaps many of you will have heard that the Arab magazine published an article...
The Arab magazine here, it doesn't mean the magazine which is in the Arabic language. No, it's called Majallatul Arabi, the Arab magazine. It is a magazine which comes from Kuwait, and it came out in the 1958. So it was founded in 1958. This is called Majallatul Arabi, a majalla which was very, very, well supported. It was actually having very good papers, and it was the A5 size, not the A4. You understand the A5 size? Okay, the A5 is less than this. Is A4. A5 is smaller. By the way, the numbers here, but A3 is bigger. Subhanallah. You think it's A4 is going to be bigger? No. So A3 is the biggest. So you got A4 and you got A5. So that's not that much. Okay, the normal books here. That's the Mus'haf. No, it's less than that. Small Mus'haf, smaller than that one. It's called A. So that magazine, it was thick as well. And as I said, it had lots of pictures. And I used to, myself used to, when I was in the 1968, 69, 70, 71, I used to get them because they got lots of pictures there inside. And it was a magazine which has got everything in it. But it was a secular magazine. So whatever is in it is going to be anti-religion. It's not going to be with the religion. So this magazine had poetry, had literature, had art, and there's a corner for the religion. But what type of religion? This is one of those things. So he says, Sheikh Al-Albani, read.
Perhaps many of you will have heard that the Arab magazine published an article a few years ago by one of these people in which he embraces and adopts this statement, i.e. in respect to alcoholic drinks extracted from other than grapes, and that the majority of alcoholic drinks of today, in what is apparent, are from other than grapes. So he published an article in the Arab magazine and permitted the Muslims to drink what they like from these modern day intoxicants upon the pretext of don't drink that which will intoxicate you.
Yeah, this article, it was under the title of هذا حكم الله في الخمر. This is the rule of Allah regarding the intoxicant drink. So it was under that title. هذا حكم الله. But sometimes you read it, oh, but you think it's haram. Would you read? Oh, hang on a second. No problem to have the drinks which is made from the barley, from the wheat, which is most of the drinks these days is not made from the grapes. It's only particular wines. But all of the beers and alcoholic and all of these alcohol, they are not from the grapes. Okay, so that means no problem, as long as you don't get drunk, drink. So this person, he had made this article. Of course, it's not for, the sake of the Islam. I don't think so. So he said, this is the time. This is the rule of Allah regarding al-khamr, regarding the wine. Al-khamr means intoxicant drinks. Khamr, intoxicant drinks. And then he put that article based upon the opinion of whom? Abu Hanifa. He's the one, he says, one of the champion. They didn't know about that. Most of the people, they don't know about that. Fadl. So Sheikh Al-Albani says now, he's saying that this article says, as long as you don't get drunk, drink. As long as you don't drink, drink. Doesn't matter. So Sheikh Al-Albani says
this is an unrealistic action because in reality, as all of us know, the first drop of alcohol brings about the second drop, and the third drop brings about the fourth drop, and so on. The small amount which does not intoxicate is a procedure which cannot be determined and regulated with precision. Thus, it will eventually bring about the large amount which will intoxicate. So, I say, why does the likes of this statement still remain in the books of fiqh, whilst it clashes with the irrefutable ahadith which are established from the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in negating it? Why do we give a free hand to a biased writer who then publicizes this statement and builds lofty towers and palaces upon it, and who permits for the Muslims the drinking of forbidden drinks, with the condition, don't drink that which intoxicates, and drink a little and don't drink a lot.
طيب. So basically, he says that in Sheikh Al-Albani, it's impossible to say that there is a particular amount for each person that will not make you drunk, because the drink intoxicates the people according to how the consumption, the amount of consumption, and also the person himself. Some people get drunk from one glass, some people drink from half a glass, some people needs a barrel for him to get drunk. So where is the criterion by which we distinguish? Don't drink the one which does not get you drunk. So this is not really realistic. Also, we don't know about the motivation behind this person. What does he want? But this motivation is not going with the deen. So why do we let such a person to get advantage from the religious books by looking at the Hanafi madhab and extracting just that, just for the sake of making the alcohol to be halal? Why do you give him this opportunity? Why do you leave that book like this instead of saying that this is a wrong fatwa? Why? Because, as I said, making the person holy makes you scared to approach him, to even talk about him, or to tarnish his reputation. There's no tarnish of his reputation. When you say that he is making a mistake, you are not putting him down. You are making him as a human being. So that's what it is said. When you sacredness of people or elevating people to such a certain level that they are untouchable, that's not correct. Right. So let's go ahead and read. 36.
It is possible that the man who wrote this article is biased. It is also possible that he is of good intention and wishes to take the path of some of the people by saying, "O people, do not be harsh upon the Muslims. As long as there exists a saying of an imam from amongst the imams of the Muslims which permits for them this drinking, then why should we forbid it?"
So he's saying that maybe this motivation is halal. He's saying, why do you want to make it hard upon you Muslims? As long as we have an imam, great person, and he believes in him, who makes it halal for us to drink the drink. So why don't we use his fatwa? Maybe he thinks that this is the correct opinion. We don't know. Maybe he could be a person who's trying to pollute and adulterate the deen, or it could be a person who's with genuine intention. He thought, well, why should we make it hard upon us? There's a saying from the scholar Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. There's so many farad. He says halal as long as it doesn't get you drunk. Fadal.
It is possible that the writer of this article is like this. However, why is it also that we see one of the learned scholars of the Sham then authorizing a treatise in refutation of this article, with you able to see confusion in his refutation? Sometimes he is on the side of the one who said the statement, which is adopted by the writer, and sometimes he quotes the ahadith, some of which we have mentioned, which are a refutation of the writer and whomsoever he relies on.
Okay. Right. So we just want to know who is that person whom the Sheikh. Sheikh Al-Albani said, if we don't have any sort of criticism for this person, so the criticism is actually for the person who is knowledgeable, and yet when he makes a treatise or he makes an article which is still confusing and it does not give you the decisive decision regarding the alcohol, and he's talking about a Sheikh Muhammad ibn Mahmud al-Hamid al-Hamawi. This person was born just about 4 years before Sheikh Al-Albani, and it was 1910, which is 1329, and he died in 1969, which is Hijri date 1389. Sheikh Al-Albani's lecture, which is the lecture that is at the moment that we are discussing it, Al-Tarbiyah, was 4 years after the death of this Sheikh Muhammad ibn Mahmud al-Hamawi. So this Sheikh al-Hamawi, he wrote a treatise, Risala. It's called Al-Qawlu fil Musakkirat, the decisive saying regarding the intoxicants. Okay, the decisive saying, Al-Qawlu, or the saying, the verdict regarding intoxicants. So in that article, or in that treatise of his, he was not if a person reads it, he does not come with a conclusion that, the Sheikh or Imam Abu Hanifa is wrong in his fatwa. He's just rotating and rotating, and he's not really daring himself to say Abu Hanifa made a mistake. Why beating around the bush? I just go straight to the point. Abu Hanifa made a mistake. He himself is a Hanafi. But because the Sheikh Al-Albani had said good words in terms of talking about this person, I need to make sure that you understand that also the Sheikh Al-Albani said other words on him. This person, basically, he is Muhammad Hamid al-Hamawi, whom, had made a letter or a treatise again, this Sheikh Muhammad Hamawi, to say that or to refute on any person who opens the door of ijtihad. So he made another treatise which is against the Salafiyah, basically. Now, he is from the Ikhwan al-Muslimin Brotherhood, this person, and he had learned on the Naqshbandi tariqah, this person, and he was on the tariqah of Al-Junayd. He was fighting the innovations, but yet he's himself a Sufi, subhanAllah. So this person, who's Al-Hamawi, he had made a treatise, which is a treatise, and he said that we should not abide ourselves to a madhab. So he said, we should abide ourselves to a madhab. They said, لزوم اتباع مذاهب الأئمة. We should abide ourselves to one of the four madhab. حسما للفوضى الدينية. His book is named لزوم اتباع مذاهب الأئمة حسما للفوضى الدينية. We must follow a particular madhab from the madhab of the imams in order to make a stop for this chaos in religion. So we call us upon chaos. You're not really, if you're not Shafi'i, you're not Madhab Maliki, they are upon chaos here. So he had made this treatise in order to refute the articles and the treaties of others who say that we should open the gate of ijtihad and we should not be abiding ourselves to one particular madhab. So this book of his, or treatise of his, was the foundation for this person who's deviant, Al-Buti, Muhammad Said Al-Buti. This person, Al-Buti, was in Syria. He was assassinated in Syria. This person, who was, you could say, the person of the Mufti of the president of Syria at that time, he is the one who had made this book called Al-La Madhabiyya, to have no madhab, أخطر بدعة تهد الشريعة الإسلامية. The most dangerous, he says, bid'ah, innovation that threatens the Islamic Sharia. So he had based his book on the book of Al-Hamawi. So the foundation of his book, the source of his book, is that book of Al-Hamawi, which is the book لزوم اتباع المذاهب الأئمة حسما للفوضى الدينية. لزوم اتباع المذاهب الأئمة حسما للفوضى الدينية. So he made his book. It's called La Madhabiyya, Al-Buti. And of course, there was lots of scholars and shuyukh refuted him. Like Shaykh Salih Al-Fuzan refuted him in one of the articles of his, in one of his books. But there's not a book specified for that. But the one who had dealt with him properly is Sheikh Muhammad Eid Abbasi in his book, great book called Bid'at At-Ta'assub Al-Madhabi. The innovation of to be fanatic to or stuck to one madhab. This is a bid'ah, and in which he had said so many things there regarding the madhab. Are you telling us to stick to a particular madhab when the madhab says, for example, in the madhab, in one of the book of the madhab, says that if the people want to line up for jama'ah, who's going to lead the prayer? Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ya ummukum aqra'ukum li kitabillah. The one who should lead is the one who knows most about the Quran. He is not just knows memorization wise, but also what? Recitation wise. So it's the one who's to lead the prayer. I'm not talking about in a masjid which has got an imam. I'm not talking about in a house where the imam is supposed to be the owner of the house. I'm talking about in jama'ah lined up. So the fiqh says, Prophet ﷺ, he said, that the one who's supposed to lead is what? The one who knows about the Quran the most. If they are equal, let's say all of them huffaz, then the one who knows about the sunnah more. So that means one who hafiz of more sunnah, hadith from the Prophet. Then the Prophet, if they are equal, then the one who had immigrated to the deen before, so he made the immigration. So he's abided to the religion before the other one. If they are equal, then the one who is older. And I don't think you'll find a jama'ah which will have a problem who's going to lead by using this criterion, that they are equal in Quran and equal in Sunnah, and they are coming to the commitment to the deen of the same day, and they've got the same date of birth. It's impossible. Well, let's say it happened. One of them is going to say, "Oh, you lead," even if they are equal. Let's say there are two people. They are equal in everything. One of them says, "Come on, lead." Like Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he made Abu Musa al-Ash'ari to lead him. Yet Abu Musa al-Ash'ari is small regarding Abdullah ibn Mas'ud in terms of knowledge, because the Prophet said, if you want to read the Quran, read it according to the following people. One of them, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Recite the Quran. If you want to recite the Quran as it's being revealed to me by Jibreel alayhi salam, recited on the way of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said to him, lead. And that's when he started lead. He took his shoes off from Musa al-Ash'ari. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, well, are we going to be becoming like Jews here? The Jews, they always take their shoes off. Are we becoming like Jews here? If you do this day, are you Wahhabi, akhi? No, akhi. If you have your shoes on, you pray with the shoes on. I'm not talking about the masajid, you're coming here. Let's say you're in an airport or a place. Some people, it's even, you just take his shoe automatically. This is not our Islamic habit. So Abdullah Masudi said, we can become Abu Musa. Are we going to be becoming like Jews? Why are you taking your shoes off? There's no need. Here we take the shoes off because of the carpets. But let's say the masjid is not the carpet, like the Prophet's masjid. Stones. What do? You're going to take your shoes off? Yes. And if you didn't take it, you'll say to your Wahhabi. True or not? Say Wahhabi. You're a person from Saudi Arabia, Wahhabi or something. This is Sunnah. But anyway, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he made Abu Musa al-Ash'ari to lead the prayer. No problem about that. I think I flew off that tangent. What was I talking about? Last thing before what was the last thing? Ahmad reminded
If they're the same in everything, then you were going to say how the madhahib, they add more things.
So they were in the jama'ah. Please pay attention. Ahmad's paying attention. So when you're in jama'ah, who's going to lead? So we said this is the criteria the Prophet has done. But in the madhab, they go further than that. So for example, you find in the books which are attributed to the Hanafi madhab, then if they are equal, then the person who's got the biggest head. So they start measuring the heads now with meters. And this is in the book, Ikhwani. Wallahi, I'm not joking. This is called Malaq al-Falah, the book. Hanafi. Biggest head. Okay. If they are equal in size in the biggest head, who's that? Oh, the one who is got the most beautiful wife. So they're going to line up beauty contest. See who's got the most beauty. Because you see, they've got a reason for this. Because the biggest head, that means you're clever, you've got brains. The most beautiful wife, that means you're going to lower your gaze because you're going to look at other women. You've got the most beautiful wife. So he will read the prayer. This is in the books. Then after they are equal, what is going to be? Think about it. The one who's got the smallest private part. I don't know how you're going to measure that. This is how can you measure that? The smallest private. Because what? Because he will be more of sort of, he's not going to be using his lust. The smallest part. I don't know how you're going to measure that. How can you measure that? This is in the book. Now, but if they are equal now, all the private parts are the same. What's the solution? Stop laughing. No jama'ah. Khalas. Everybody go home. No jama'ah. This is in the book. Jama'ah is not compulsory because everybody's equal in everything. And that is in the book. And you want me to be a madhabi? You want to stick to such a madhab, to such Allah understand. If you look at the madhab books, there are lots of things there which makes you think, subhanallah. Why is this? Why is this still in the books? Why? How come we can talk about this? Prophet ﷺ gave us 4 things. Are we going to need more than that? Khalas. It's called Al-Awwal. Going extreme in details. Fine. Coming back now to say that the person which is Al-Hamawi, we don't want you to be under the wrong impression that he's a a person you should be reading his books. And I'm saying this as a warning, ya ikhwani, because when Imam Al-Albani, he says in his lecture, قال أحد علماء الشام الأفاضل, one of the good scholars of Sham, he said. So that makes maybe an invitation to other people to go and read his books. And some of his books are not good. And I'll give you the story here of Abu Walid al-Baji. Abu Walid al-Baji, when he saw Abu Dharr al-Harawi, he was affiliated to the madhab of al-Ash'ari. He asked him, where did you get this? How did you become like to the Ash'ari madhab? And this is deviant madhab. So he said, well, I was walking with Abu al-Hasan, which is Ad-Daraqutni, rahimahullah, Imam al-Sunnah. But on the way when I was with him, we met Al-Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Tayyib al-Baqillani. And he's a person who's Ash'ari, well known. Ash'ariyya is a deviant sect in terms of the Aqidah. So Ad-Daraqutni, what happened is, what he did, he had kissed the hand and the face of that person. So Abu Dharr al-Harawi, he asked him, who is this? You're kissing his hand, and you're kissing his head, kissing his face, and you are the person who's considered to be the Imam of your time. Abu al-Hasan al-Daraqutni is the Imam. Al-Ilal al-Daraqutni is a book, mashallah. Daraqutni, great scholar. How can you just, who's that person? You're kissing his hand? That means greater the scholar than you are. So he said, this is the Imam of the Muslims, Imam al-Muslimin. وَالذَّابُ عَنِ الدِّينِ is the one who protects and defends the religion. Al-Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Tayyib al-Baqillani. As soon as he said this and he made him to be a scholar, he said, from that time, I started going to this person. And that's why I'm affiliated to the madhab of al-Ash'ari. Do you understand that now? So this is why I wanted to warn you that this person, that's what he had done. And I wanted to go and read his books and become now from the Brotherhood, Ikhwanis, or from the Sufis. So it's like in order for not to be deceived. And when I read the book of his Hamawi, his letter, which is Al-Qawl fi al-Musakkirat, or Al-Muskirat, the saying, the verdict, the final saying regarding you'll find he's not really confused. He's not really giving a proper answer to that person who had put the article in Majallat al-Arabi, in which he had made it halal to go and drink from the drinks, as long as they don't get drunk, as long as not from the grapes as well. Fine, further. Why do we see?
Why do we see this learned scholar wavering about? It is because he reveres this statement, permitting alcohol, due to it originating from one of the great scholars from amongst the scholars of the Muslims. And this great scholar, according to him, does not speak from desire or ignorance. I say, in agreement with him, that this great scholar...
So basically, he's saying, Sheikh Al-Albani, why do we see this scholar? He is confused and he's not decisive regarding the issue of that alcohol is haram, regardless whether it makes you drunk or not. It's haram. He said because he reversed, that means he sanctified Al-Imam Abu Hanifa. He's Mawli. He reversed his sayings. And he says that this scholar does not talk from whims and desire, does not talk as well from ignorance. Sheikh Al-Albani said, well, I say the same thing. He does not talk from his whims and desire, and he does not talk from his ignorance. But he's not what? Infallible. At the same time. So I say like him.
I say in agreement with him that this great scholar does not speak from desire or ignorance. However, is he infallible in his ijtihad, which is far from ignorance and desire? All of us will say no.
Which is far, when he made his ijtihad, he was not ignorant, nor he was on whims and desire. He made his ijtihad on reality, scholarly knowledge. Now,
all of us will say no, and we will all remember the statement of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
إذا حكم الحاكم, which is the translation of which,
when a scholar judges and makes ijtihad and is correct in his decision, then he gets 2 rewards. And when he judges and makes ijtihad and then makes a mistake, then he gets 1 reward.
Okay, go ahead.
So why do we forget that the mujtahid, scholar who makes ijtihad, will indeed be rewarded for at least 1 reward? Why can we not say that he has made a mistake? The reason for this is that it is difficult for some of the people to hear a person saying, indeed, such and such, the Imam has made a mistake. However, all the paths, as they say, are under inspection.
All the paths are under inspection. Right. Continue, please.
We then say, why such stubbornness? Or why do we fear to say that indeed an imam from amongst the imams of the Muslims has erred in a matter or in making ijtihad or in his opinion, and that he will be rewarded with one reward instead of two? So why don't we say this is a starting point firstly, and secondly as an application of some of the subsidiary matters? And from amongst these subsidiary matters is the subject matter at hand, making alcohol permissible.
Right.
When you read the treatise which this scholar has authored in refutation of that writer, you do not come away.
The Hamawi refuted the one who had made an article in Majallat al-Arab, magazine Arab.
You do not come away with the conclusion that the writer has made a mistake in his reliance upon the opinion of an imam.
So they basically, if he's refuting, why not he show it that he made a mistake? But you don't come with a conclusion that he is actually saying that that writer in the article made a mistake. So why did you make that all of that refutation? Go on.
You do not come away with the conclusion that the writer has made a mistake in his reliance upon the opinion of an imam from amongst the imam of the Muslims. This is because, in reality, after this opinion was thoroughly examined and submitted in front of the proofs of the Sharia, some of the followers of this imam himself were obliged to reject this matter, leaving it as one reward.
Some of the followers or students of the imams had, basically totally, entirely had not adopted what Abu Hanifa had said. And this is from them Muhammad ibn al-Hasan al-Shaybani, one of the premier students of Imam Abu Hanifa. One of them is called Abdullah al-Zayani. He's Abu Muhammad. He died on the year 762 after Hijrah. And also Abu Ja'far. And Imam Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi, he did not adopt that opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa. Okay, go ahead.
This is because in reality, after this opinion was thoroughly examined and submitted in front of the proofs of the Sharia, some of the followers of this Imam himself were obliged to reject this matter, leaving it as one reward for the Imam, and then to adhere to the authentic ahadith. So why do we not read in this treatise
the treatise of Al-Hamawi that
the Imam has made a mistake but is rewarded, and that the writer has no right to be in opposition to the Sunnah with the opinion of this Imam?
So why don't you just put it clear and blunt that the Imam made a mistake, and this writer has no right to adopt this opinion, basing it on the opinion of Abu Hanifa, which is wrong. He did not clarify that issue. He says for this answer,
because indeed the opinion has overcome us, and in our hearts there is a reverence and respect for the Imams more than that which Allah has made obligatory upon us.
So he says the reason because of Hamawi and other people who are affiliated with their Imams, they always fanatic. They don't dare themselves to speak anything about Abu Hanifa. I see Abu Hanifa made a mistake. Subhanallah. Abu Hanifa, he prevented his student to write what he says. Don't do that, because people will say something today, we change our mind the following day. Now, fadl.
And we believe in the saying of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam for ourselves.
Now, go ahead.
Not from us is the one who does not honor our elder.
Now.
Or who does not have mercy on our young.
Yep.
Or who does not recognize the right of our scholar. This is from that which the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam urged the Muslims to do in recognizing the right of the scholar.
So basically, the Prophet said, it's not from us, the one who does not know for the scholar his rights. Yeah, but is it from his rights that to make him infallible and to make him and elevate him to the rank of being a prophet? Go ahead.
However, it is from the right of the scholar.
No, is it from the right of the scholar? However, is it?
Oh, sorry.
It makes you change the whole sentence then.
However, is it from the right of the scholar that we raise him to the level of prophethood and messengership until we eventually give him infallibility with our silent language and the language of silence?
So we don't say it, he's a prophet, but actually Implicitly, we are saying it is the Prophet. We're not saying Abu Hanifa the Prophet, but the way you're dealing with Abu Hanifa, you're making him the Prophet. Now, not just Abu Hanifa, any person, Shafi'i madhab followers, Imam Malik madhab followers. Now,
And the language of silence is clearer than the language of speech.
yep. لسان الحال أنطق من لسان القال.
Therefore, if it is upon us to respect the scholar, give
I
him...
mean, the equivalence of that is that action speaks more than words. Okay, that's the equivalence of that.
Therefore, if it is upon us to respect the scholar, give him his due right, and to follow him when he shows us the proof. Then it is not upon us that we promote from his saying, whilst we diminish from the saying of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, nor is it upon us that we prefer his saying over the saying of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Okay, so basically, that if we have to respect, revere the saying of a scholar, and also to follow him in something when he brings us the proof, but it's not correct to elevate that person and to make his saying equivalent to the saying of the Prophet of Allah. Like some people came to Imam Shafi'i. He said to him, question, where do we, he asked him a question regarding something. So the Imam Shafi'i said, the Prophet of Allah said such and such. So the man, he said, what do you say? What do you say? Look how you're making his saying equal to the saying of the Prophet of Allah. Look at him. He looked at him and he said, did you see me coming out of the church? Did you see me with a belt around my waist like a priest? I say to you, the Prophet of Allah said so, such and such, and you say to me, what do I say? What is it? What is happening to the world? What is happening to the world? You ask me something, I say, Qala Rasulullah. Abu Sahib, what do you say? Who is that? Who is that? Who is Imam Shafi'i? Who is a companion? The Prophet of Allah said. So when somebody came to Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said to him, what do you say regarding mut'ah? Not mut'ah of the Shia Rafida, mut'ah as in tamattu' in Hajj, making tamattu', which is Umrah first, and then after that you declare second ihram, then you start the Hajj, tamattu'. So he said, the Prophet ﷺ, he commanded to make tamattu'. He said, tamattu'. He said, well, Abu Bakr and Umar, they don't make tamattu', mut'ah. He said, the heavens is about to send us rocks from there. I'm saying to you, our Prophet ﷺ said it. You said to me, Abu Bakr and Umar. Abu Bakr and Umar. It's not Imam Shafi'i or Imam Abu Hanifa. So he said to them that I'm saying to you, Qala Rasulullah, and he said to me, but Abu Bakr and Umar, that means you are objecting on my saying to you that the Prophet said so. You're saying that Abu Bakr and Umar is going to take the equivalence of the words of the Prophet. SubhanAllah. He said, we are about to have what? Rocks sent from Allah to us. That means we're going to be doomed like the other nations. We're going to be killed. Allah is going to send us rocks. It's about to have rocks upon us because of you. What would you say? When I say Prophet of Allah said, you just إذا جاء نهر الله بطل نهر معقل. That is, if Allah's river comes, this river of all the rivers, whatever his name is, it's gone, finished. The river of Allah. And this is Imam Abdullah ibn Abbas. He learnt it from Abu Hurairah. What time is the adhan? Now. Now it's adhan, huh? And then the salah, what time? 8? Quarter past 8, alhamdulillah. Would you like to make the adhan? Who's making the adhan? يلا إخواني. It should be competition for the adhan. It should be تفضل. Who's the muadhan here?
Ahmed, تفضل. الله يهديك يا راشد.
No? Okay, the adhan is 8? Okay.
So you can do
Oh, the adhan.
Straight away.
So if the Jama'ah is saying 8 o'clock, is it here then? By the way, is it on the... Okay, khair inshallah. Okay, Jama'ah is 8, so we're going to be finishing, Ikhwani. The screen is not clear for me, by the way.
الحين الآن.
Jama'ah.
8:15.
It's 8 quarter past 8, he says.
It says 8
تغيرت اليوم ممكن.
طيب. اليوم الجماعة 8 و8 ربع. Jama'ah is quarter past 8 or 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Jama'ah today. Okay. إذا جاء نهر الله بطل نهر العقل. Coming from the administration, that's it, 8 o'clock. So, okay. Salam. No. Come for the people. So, Abdullah ibn Abbas, he learned this from Abu Hurairah. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, when Abdullah ibn Abbas, he was a kid. Abdullah ibn Abbas, when the Prophet died, he was only 13 years old. So Abu Hurairah is narrating a hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Make wudu from the thing that is being touched by the fire. That means if you have cooked something with the fire, like barbecued meat or something, then wudu from there is good. It's a sunnah from the Prophet. It's not going to invalidate the wudu. So he's Abdullah ibn Abbas is asking Abu Hurairah, are we going to be making wudu from even the boiled water? So if we have boiled water, so you're making, are we going to have wudu from the boiled? So Abu Hurairah said, when I say to you, the Prophet said so, don't give us some parables of yours. He taught him a lesson. If I say that, so he, Abdullah ibn Abbas, didn't understand, and also maybe he thought maybe he's not saying the Prophet said, maybe he's not sure. So he told him off. He said to him, if I said to you the Prophet said, don't give us examples of yours like that, parable. Okay? So learn it. So yes, Prophet said, tawaddaw mimma masjidina. Don't say, well, the water, if it's being touched by the water, by the fire, shall we make wudu from the water, by the water? Do you understand that? He's trying to say to you that it's not correct. No, the Prophet said, make wudu from what is the fire had touched, alhamdulillah, or being cooked. Fine. Last thing, please.
This is just another one of the examples which are still in effect amongst us from amongst us without rejection or opposition from those people who have knowledge in the Quran and Sunnah. Indeed, I mentioned this issue of alcohol in a published treatise of mine, and that it was.
I looked very carefully into which treatise the Sheikh has talked about. I couldn't find it. But there is an indication of it in Silsila Sahih Sheikh Al-Albani, Hadith 91. And I've asked a number of students of knowledge regarding where is that letter that has been Sheikh Al-Albani is talking about. Allahu A'lam. Now.
And that it was required from the reader to depart from it with one conclusion, and that is that the matter is as the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, as one statement, that which intoxicates in large amounts is forbidden in small amounts.
Go ahead, please.
Thus, the writer of the article in the Arab magazine is mistaken. Whomsoever he has relied on from the people of knowledge, then he is also mistaken. And we do not have any favoritism for anyone when he makes a mistake. A mistake is a mistake, and disbelief is disbelief. Whether it comes from the young or old or male or female, then it is still all a mistake. And the mistake does not differ in it being a mistake due to the source it came from.
Just a mistake if it's coming from a scholar or coming from a person who's ignorant, it's a mistake. But the mistake from the scholar is in terms of reward-wise. If he makes a mistake in ijtihad, then he's what? Rewarded once. But if you made a mistake as an ignorant, you did not ask a scholar, you are sinned. And if you made a correct answer as a scholar, you have double reward. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. By this we'll stop, inshallah. And we have only 4 minutes for the adhan and the iqamah, so we don't want to delay the people, Akhwani. I'm not supportive of that. Okay? Let's go ahead, inshallah, for the question. For the adhan.